mistake C9 won. They should have, and they played it well. But Empire able to keep Resolution up and standing. Resolution still hasn't died this game. He's 1-0-5, despite being a Lycan up against that much lane pressure, and Lycan is not that great in lane, even with good supports like Avenge. And at this stage, like you said, I mean, there's the Battle Fury out on Sing, and it'll come in time for the base defense, but they're just so big. And a fresh Aegis up on Resolution has up a Hyperstone to go with it as well. Mag has really just been crushing them, though. He's down to 6 charges on the Bloodstone, and that's not optimum, but we saw just how quickly Bone 7 melted whenever he got hit with the Whirling Death.
Right.
It's just so hard for them to deal with that. And he's, like, basically it's a situation where they need to doom him. Like, they have to doom the Timbersaw, or he's just going to be a gigantic pain. But there are so many other targets that are problematic in their own way that maybe are deserving of it. But at any rate, they are able to get in a position in time to force Empire back. Empire not wanting to roll the dice quite yet. And
with, you know, if there are strength heroes, you lower their HP by a significant amount with Whirling Death, so it makes them easier to kill. On top of that, you put the Wave of Terror, so it makes, so when they're losing all that health because of the Whirling Death and then the Wave of Terror, negative, what, 6 armor, I think?
Yep.
Yeah, 6 armor. Look at how much damage Lycan's going to do. It's going to be ridiculous. And he almost has an Assault Caress.
Blink call on the Van score, and wrong place, wrong time for the Vengeful Spirit. Gets off a Magic Missile and a little bit of minus armor. Empire looked like they wanted to converge, but realizing that they're a little too spread out for it. Mag finds himself a haste rune in the decent pick off for C9, but one of many more they're really going to need. The Scepter beat them, by the way, is almost done on Always Want to Fly as well. He actually just needs about another 150 gold, and he'll have that good to go. How do you feel about Envy's build? Like we were talking, like the mech is out now, so it's kind of a moot point in the immediate terms, but he could have bought the mech very, very early instead of opting to rush the Shivas out. And they would have had it for a couple of those big fights that really swung this in Empire's favor. Do you think that might have been the right direction to go in retrospect?
I think his item build is fine. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think he could have gone mech. That would have required him maybe to go for mana boots too, just because Doom does run through a lot of mana. And when you rush a mech, you have to do something like that. He wanted the phase boots to really dominate the lane, or at least come back in lane, and he did do that. Like he had an unfortunate instance where he was probably really mad about that too, because I'd have to go back and watch. But that extra tower attack that happened, it seemed like it was kind of random. Like if that was me, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, are you kidding me? Why is this tower turning on me? So he needed the phase boots. He rectified that problem, did well in lane. I think his item build is fine.
Right. Resolution is done with an Assault Cuirass, by the way, at 25 minutes in. And I just don't know. Like C9, they have the tools, but this is where you start to see that axe pick really begin to fall off, and you start to see it become problematic. I don't know, like, it's... C9 just, like, I feel like their draft was much better this game. And I feel like they actually did an excellent job in top lane for the most part. I'm just trying to think where they could have made an adjustment, but honestly, it's not so much they played bad as Empire's just played well, and in particular, a Rise. 6-1-2 on the Magnus, and this has just been a great game for them, and I think they look better. They look much better than they did in their first series, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, was it just maybe a rocky day for them, or is Fnatic just a new team? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when they play EG up next, but. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you. I think Empire played the tri-lane fantastically well. Like, they played it really well. Oh, action here.
Yep, RP, actually.
Did he whip it? Yeah. Or was it on the, I wasn't really seeing, but it was maybe on Sing, and he just, like, poured it away?
No, it was on Sing.
Okay, yeah, that'll happen. But, oh, well, it's not the end of the world. Those kind of things do happen.
Yep.
And
still totally in control. Although C9 is beginning to turn the gold a little bit more in their favor. They've at least flatlined it, so it's not getting any worse at the very least.
Yeah, but as far as the draft, like, okay, one thing, Empire played the tri-lane very, very well. It was a hard tri-lane to kind of play against it, and their positioning and their decision-making about who to go on and who to slow at the same time was very, very on point. I also think that the tri-lane, though, was just kind of weird. Like, I would have liked to see either a different hero other than the Wisp or the Undying. I don't think both of them with Axe worked. Had, like, Shadow Priest instead of Wisp. I think it would have been way better.
Right.
Like something to make them at least slow them down or catch them or synergize a little bit better with the Axe early on. So at least, because if that's your decision to go tri-lane, It's not so much how does Wisp work in the mid game. It's like you're tri-laning aggressive. You need to make this work now. And I think Shadow Priest either instead of Undying or I mean it could have been a different hero, right? That just popped into my head. I think they just needed to do something. But this no stun, no slow. We're just gonna run at you and hopefully you kind of mess up. It's kind of it's not too consistent.
Out over in the trees and gonna come out and yep. Wow, actually forces Sing back. Sing not liking the potential for someone else to be there. Empire's actually taking their time and pressing their advantage right now. Sing is making some pretty good progress. He has moved up a bit in net worth, but honestly, the farm is fairly well distributed. It's rare that you see this many heroes right on top of each other, but you've got 6 of them that are right in the vicinity of each other. Hell, 7 if you count the Visage, who's a little bit further off. He's 7K behind the highest farmed, which is Eternal Envy. With that Devour Midas combination, Vanscore is going to take a spill here. And yeah, like no doubt about it. Sending 4 and getting the pick. Down at bottom though, here comes the terror that is the Lycan split push. He's got book 3. He's got Assault Cure ass. There come the creeps, and they've got it back. He's going to have the familiars there to help him. So he forces the glyph out. Now they can get a kill on him though. It'll just about be worth it. He's got his ulti. He's going to use that to escape. He's got a whole team behind him though. And if he can bait a couple to group up, yeah, they're just going to go for it. There's going to be...
Oh, no, God. Do you see those birds just die?
Yes.
That was 500 gold for him, by the way.
Yep.
Bam, 500 gold. So he's got to be a lot more careful always want to fly with those birds because they just get chumped by Axe.
And now he's got a scepter.
That's actually a really big deal. Yeah, he needs to not do that. Not to mention, not only is it 500 gold, but now he doesn't have birds for 150 seconds. Kind of a big blunder there, honestly, but... Hopefully he can change that in the future. Also, Owie, he needs to watch his tombstone placement. Like, he placed it right in front of Lycan. Lycan just turned and just killed it. And I think it's 150 gold. It used to be not as much. I could be wrong. I forget how much gold it actually is. I know that it increased last time. But yeah. Anyway, it's a lot of gold. Either way.
He'll be back up in about 30 seconds, give or take. And... do you feel like Empire's doing a good enough job at bottling up C9? I actually feel like C9, given the situation, is having a little bit more free reign on the map than might be justified.
Yeah, and now that we finally have a Battlefield up in the Sing Sing, it's just going to exponentially increase his farm, obviously. And it looks like he's going to go for 2. And again, this is what I talked about, just turtle up for high ground, because they actually fight very, very well on high ground, especially when you get a second Battlefield up on Ember Spirit, which I am assuming he's going for with that second Perseverance. I don't think he'd ever need Linken's this game.
Yeah, agreed. Like they're going to project a little influence into the Radiant jungle now, at least down into this bottom lane. And this is kind of what I was talking about. Like, just given how aggressively C9 is able to farm right now, I just feel like they should be punishing this a little bit more. And granted, it's still a very close game. It was a big swing, and they lost a lot of momentum, and by they, I mean C9. But Mag now has a scepter, a scythe of his own. So
wow.
Having the Hex is a pretty big deal. We're going to have a Rise there, and, yep, able to get a kill on AUI's Undying as they catch him near the Ancients. Up at top, looks like they want to try to force it back at the very least, as they're going to pressure the top tier 2, or they might just trade it. Roshan, oh, never mind, coming up in 2.5 minutes. I'm still not sure exactly how to read that damn.
I know, me neither.
I knew how to read the other one perfectly.
Same.
I don't know what everyone was complaining about. It wasn't hard. But anyway.
I mean, he's scouting out. I think that's just pure scouting. Shivas blinks away. I have no idea. Did you see what Aoi was doing in the Ancients? I'm guessing he like picked up an invis and then the book was popped and he was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
They knew I was. I have no idea. I just saw him amidst 4 heroes inside their Ancients all by himself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of weird stuff, but 5 members of Empire all chasing, and well, some of them chasing Cloud9 out of their jungle. Cloud9 with some good warding, actually. I think it's you can get into this groove where, God, we're losing, we need defensive wards. But honestly, I feel like when you're losing, you need offensive wards because you need to see as far away from your side of the map where the other heroes are because it gives you a good indication of where I can farm safely.
I feel like both teams have warded really well. 3 very aggressive wards out of Empire.
Right, yeah.
And this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier. They've got these very aggressive wards now. I mean, one's for Roshan, obviously. Then you've got one over here in the jungle and one down here near this bottom lane. And I just feel like they haven't done a great job of bottling up C9 as much as they could have. Is that just a limitation of their lineup, or is that a conscious decision?
totally blanked out. That happens sometimes when I'm a bad person to read Twitch chat. But yeah, sorry.
I was talking about how C9 is really, they have good wards of their own, but Empire has dropped out some very aggressive wards. So there was a gem picked up, by the way, on Van Score.
Okay.
So they're able to counter ward now in their own jungle. But they've had aggressive wards now, and they have been moving around the map. But I feel like C9 has actually been able to get out and onto the map very, very well compared to what you would think they would be able to do, given that Empire has 3 towers up and no outer tier towers remaining for them. Do you think they've done a good enough job of trying to kind of suffocate and take the jungle away from C9 and try to pin them back? And is that a limitation of their lineup? Or do you think it's a conscious decision they've made to just focus on farming and let C9 farm as well?
Well, I think their whole decision in the last, because I've been wondering that too, is just waiting out for Roshan.
Yep.
So here we could have a possible engagement. Yeah, I don't think they want to take any risks. Oh wow, Resolution's ulting. He wants to go in here. They're very far away though, and with the tether movement speed, I don't know if they're gonna catch him. He really wants this though.
This is a little wishful thinking.
Here comes a ride.
And blowing IO up in very short order. They've got some creeps, and they can push down this top lane if they choose to do so now. Just 35 seconds, though, on Pielidi's respawn. And, yeah, I think Roshan might be the safer bet right now. And, in fact, Always Want to Fly spots it out. Speaking of Always Want to Fly, he's got just about 2K gold on top of having his scepter as well. So his farm has been considerable. He is I mean, again, look at this. 10 heroes on the board. There are 7 of them that are 10K or above, or at least 4 in the case of Always Want to Fly, very close to 10K. So
right.
Very, for the most part, even distribution of farm and a very gold-heavy game on everyone. And it's actually no surprise, Doom and the Lycan, who are tops on the board in terms of overall net worth. But what is surprising is Lycan has been able to keep pace and stay ahead of Envy's Doom, even with, again, the Midas and the Devour.
Oh, yeah, and then an easy Roshan. They can do this all game, and this is what players are talking about, how Dire is just very, very strong right now. Aegis goes to...
Dire's bottom tower's been disowned.
Tower, and I thought for a second denied the Aegis. I don't know. I was like, dear God, please no. But yeah, Aegis goes to Resolution. You're talking about how he's able to keep up the farm.
Always Want to Fly, caught in bottom lane. Mechs through it, gets up the familiars. We'll use them to stun, just trying to buy time. Here comes the Timbersaw with his boots of travel and an RP. And what should have been a big kill instead turns against them. And Resolution's even there to come in and secure one for himself. That 2 down, Bone 7 down for 60 seconds. His team not sitting back and getting nothing out of it, though, as they take the tier 2 top. Does Bone 7 have buyback? Yeah, everyone does, actually. Everyone except Van Score. So this is, they'll be able to buy back if they need to, but this is going to be a big
top towers.
out of Empire now.
If you saw actually right there at the end, Visage had like 45 armor. This is what I talked about when you go in and do a lot of damage to Visage. All his damage, at least until he gets, yeah, pretty much all his damage is physical. And when you have that much armor, it just doesn't do anything to him. And Aoi, this is this Undying pick that's just not working out as we approach the mid to late game when they're not snowballing. Big push bottom.
Oh, wow, they glyphed a little too late, and Sing swapped out. Here's Envy, does doom Resolution, but Resolution has the Aegis, so he dooms the hero with the Aegis. Van Score. Missile, here's Resolution right back up, ulti back up at 25 seconds, just going to work, chopping wood, using the Abyssal to lock one down and bring him down. Here's Bone 7 going in with the call, hoping he can get something done. Gets one Coaling Blade off, but it's not going to be enough. Buyback necessitated out of Eternal Envy. If they can keep the racks up, this game will keep going. But even that, it might be tough. He gets a level death off on the Resolution, does good damage. Mag's right there on top of him, though. Here comes Always Want to Fly, hits him with the Grave Chill. And yeah, they're going to re-engage. There's the ulti and the mech to get Resolution back into fighting shape. And down he goes. AUI. Oh, yep, there we go. He actually passed him the cheese.
Yeah.
Yep, he passed him the cheese. Celebration RP. As it looks for all the world that Empire is going to be knocking down C9.
Radiant's mid towers in trouble.
Bottom racks go to work now on the mid. That'll be the melee gone. This will be the ranged, and with a Lycan and a Lycan this far ahead, and with a mag, you can crack high ground so efficiently. I don't know. Yeah, even if they could keep these standing, I don't think this game could go on much longer. This is going to be most likely your GG. They're chasing it out. There's an RP on the Sing. Sing Pielight died, trying to really relocate and save him. There it is.
GG.
C9, who came in confident that they were going to go deep into the D2L Western Challenge playoffs, goes out in straight sets, dropping their first series in an upset by Rock's Kiss. Lower bracket, meeting Empire and dropping 0-2. What a series of games for Empire, but more importantly, what a day it's been for Arise.
Yeah.
Standing in for Silent, who was unable to be a part